Hi, thanks for joining me. My name is Kate, and I'm just going to be running you through a fairly short sequence today, very energizing sequence. As at this point in time, as I'm filming this, we're currently all in self isolation as a global community, and I think we really need some yoga right now. We need meditation, we need yoga, we need to keep ourselves fit and healthy while staying indoors. And what better way to do that but with yoga? So it's going to be quite energizing to kind of get you off the couch and feeling like you've got your heart rate going, as well as all the amazing benefits that yoga brings with it for your body and your mind as well, and of course your soul will thank you. So thank you for me for joining, and we'll get started. Okay, so we're going to practice first of all a 3-part breath and just come into a short meditation standing, so to just keep ourselves energized straight away. So if you come to standing on your mat or just if you're on your carpet, it doesn't matter. We will be using a blanket and a bolster at some point in the sequence, but not to worry if you don't have a bolster. You can use a book or any kind of block shaped thing that you can use to stabilize yourself on. You can get creative. So we're going to stand first of all and just bring your feet hip width distance apart. Lift up the toes, drop the toes down to the floor. So just really feeling the earth beneath your feet, closing the eyes. Bring your focus to the feet, the connection to the earth. Feeling really grounded and centered as you stand here in your mountain pose. Beginning to tune into the breath. We'll take our inhales down into the belly. So the belly expands first. Then the breath comes into the chest. Then lastly, it enters the throat. As you exhale, we exhale out throat, chest. Then we allow the belly to fall inwards. Just tuning into this 3-part breath. Belly, chest, throat, isolating the breath slightly to enable a full yogic breath to fully oxygenate each and every cell, coming into this place of calm. Then we can just slowly begin to flutter open our eyes, coming back to the room. So keeping your stance how it is, you can maybe widen it a little bit. And we're going to begin by just swinging our arms nice and freely around the body, lifting up the heels so you're allowing a lot of movement. Just twisting the torso. If you've just woken up, then the torso is always pretty stiff after a long night's sleep, so just waking that up gently. And really feel as you're swinging your arms like you're just freeing yourself from the restraints of society, just really imagining yourself in a field, at the beach, in a place that you feel free. And then we can come to center. And that 3-part breath that we just practiced, we're going to go back to that, but do some movement with it. So, having a nice firm foundation again with the feet. If you've lost it, just bring them back in to hip width distance apart. And as you bring the breath into your belly, we're going to bring the arms up in front of us. As you bring the breath into the chest, the arms are going to go out to the side, level with the shoulders. And then into the throat, the last third part of the breath, up to the sky, gaze up. And as you exhale, we're going to release with the sound, ha! And send it all the way back, just like you're skiing, that kind of movement. So, if you do suffer from high blood pressure, I'd like you to just sit this one out and just do the breathing with this instead. But otherwise, let's go ahead with the movement. Ha! 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 Really let it all out with the sound of ha! 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 Last one. Ha! And stand up straight. Inhale in the energy that you've created in the body. That prana moving, that life force. And just appreciating what that small movement can do. Okay, we'll take a standing position at the top of our mats. And we're going to go into some sun salutations. So running through sun salutation A. We're going to find our grounding first of all, lifting the toes, dropping the toes, picking up the kneecaps, engaging the thighs, tucking the tailbone, lifting the pelvis, rolling our shoulders onto our back nice and gently. And the arms can come into Anjali Mudra. Slightly tucking the chin, feeling very stable, unmovable like a mountain. Inhale the arms upwards, gaze to the sky, slight back bend as you draw your hands along the ceiling. Exhale, we're going to fold over the legs, bending at the knees, allowing the belly to touch the thighs. Gaze to the knees, the crown of the head extends down to the floor. Inhale, straighten the legs, bring the hands to the chin, flat back, gaze forwards. Exhale, we'll come all the way down, plant the hands, and step back to a plank. A nice high plank at first, and if you have Chaturanga Dandasana in your practice, then please run through that. If not, we're going to bring the knees down to the floor, bend at the elbows, all the way onto the belly. Inhale up to Cobra, lifting the chest, gaze forward. Exhale down. Inhale, tuck the toes, push into the hands, coming to a downward facing dog, pedaling out the heels. Just waking up the back body, waking up the calves, reconnecting to our breath here. And you can either step your feet or jump your feet to your hands. Coming into a forward fold, bending at the knees, gazing to the knees, making sure that the belly can touch the thighs. Inhale, nice flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll yourself up all the way to standing. Arms come overhead. Draw the hands through the midline, Anjali Mudra. Okay, we'll run through that again, but just a little bit quicker this time. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step back. Chaturanga, bring the knees down all the way to the floor. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down. Inhale, downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet. If you like, reconnect to the breath. Have the shoulders active. We're not collapsing into the shoulders. Nice, even distribution of weight between the feet and the hands. Then we can step or jump our feet to the hands. Folding over the legs. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up to standing. Draw the hands through the midline. Okay, we'll run through that with just half a sun salutation this time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale down. Step or jump back down through chaturanga. Or bring the knees down. Cobra, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Reconnecting to the breath. We're going to lift our right leg up to the sky. Open up that hip. Bend into the right knee. Take 3 big hip circles here. Send that leg back again with the toes pointing down. And then bring that knee forward, coming into a high plank. The knee comes to the nose, pushing the ground away. And then step that foot between the hands at the front of your mat. So we're in this runner's lunge position, but not for long. We're just going to bring the back knee down, untuck the toes, come to a low lunge, opening up the cactus arms. A nice deep opening in the chest. Not collapsing too much into our lower back, keeping our torso lifted. We'll take the left hand down beside the foot, bend into the back knee and take a hold of that foot. And this stretch can be pretty intense for a lot of people, so if this isn't available for you today, then just stay here with the arm up instead. Just breathing into where you feel sensation. And you can release the leg back down. Frame the foot. We're going to tuck the back toes, lift the knee. Keep this left hand on the floor, either on your fingertips or flat hand. And this right arm is going to circle around, just like a windmill. Bringing some movement into the shoulders. And then we'll frame the foot with the hands. Drop the back foot so the left hand edge is parallel with the front of your mat. And then begin to straighten this front leg, coming into a triangle. So your right hand is going to come to the shin, the knee, the thigh, maybe the floor, depending on your flexibility and openness in this position. And your head can gaze to the ceiling, to the fingertips, or down to the toes, depending on how your neck feels today. We're just making sure that the chest is nice and open. Gazing to the toes if you're not already, and then slowly bending into this front knee, coming to an extended side angle. So windmilling this arm down, up and around, overhead. Gazing down to the foot, framing the foot with the hands, pivoting on the back toes, and stepping this back foot to meet the front in a Nice forward fold. And you can bend into one knee and into the other. We're going to take our hands and place them underneath the feet. So you might need to really bend into the knees to get your hands there. If your hands don't reach, then don't worry. Just stay where you are in your forward fold. And if your hands are really far away, then grab that block and put them underneath your hands. But if your hands are underneath the feet, then you can kind of squidge the toes so that you're giving your palms a bit of a massage. Just allowing the whole of the back body to release. Relaxing the shoulders, shaking your head yes, shaking your head no to release the neck. Allow your head to be like a dead weight so it can pull down to the ground, stretching out the whole of your back, the neck and your shoulders. Release the hands from underneath the feet. And with that bend in your knees, we're going to roll ourselves all the way up, back to standing. Okay. Finding our grounding in mountain pose once again, lifting the toes, dropping the toes, lifting the kneecaps, engaging the thighs, tucking the tailbone, lifting the pelvis, rolling the shoulders onto our backs, bringing our hands into Anjali Mudra, chin slightly tucked, gazing forwards. Inhale the arms up, slight back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Jump back, Chaturanga Dandasana, or bring the knees down. Upward facing dog or cobra. Inhale, downward facing dog. Lift the left foot up to the sky. Open up the hip. Bend into that knee and take 3 big hip circles. Send that leg back behind you, the toes pointing down. Bring the knee forward into a high plank, really pushing the ground away. Gaining that space between you and the mat so that you can pop your foot in between the hands at the front of your mat. And if it doesn't get all the way, then that's okay. Just pick up the foot and put it there. Any way that you can get it into this position. We're going to drop the back knee, untuck the toes, come up with the arms, cactusing them open, nice open heart, open chest. Gazing upwards to generate some more heat, some more energy in the body. We'll bring the right hand down beside the foot. And you can either take a nice easy twist, extending the arm upwards, or bend into that back knee. Reach back for that quad stretch. Gazing back behind you. You can release the foot. Frame the foot again with your hands. Tuck the back toes. Lift the knee. And keep the right hand on the mat, either on your fingertips or flat. And we'll windmill this left arm around, bringing some movement into the shoulder. Inhaling as you lift the arm up. Exhaling as you bring the arm down. Framing the foot with the hands, we're going to drop our back foot onto the mat. So the left hand edge of it is parallel with the front. We'll begin to straighten this front leg, coming into a triangle, bringing this hand to the shin, the knee, the thigh, perhaps on the floor, raising our right arm up to the sky. Gazing up to the fingertips or down at the toes if you have a tenderness in your neck. Keeping the chest nice and open. Breathing into the side body. Breathing into the legs. We'll begin to gaze down to the toes, bend into this front knee. Take an extended side angle, sweeping this arm down across the body and up overhead. We'll bring this hand down, frame the foot, pivot in the back toes, plant the hands nice and flat on the floor, and we'll step our foot back into a downward facing dog. Reconnecting to your breath here. And then we're going to roll down, bringing our knees onto the floor. We'll just sit back on our heels. So we're going to run through a camel variation, which can be a bit tender on the knee. So if you have a blanket, then just pop the blanket down on your mat. If you don't have a blanket, then just roll up your mat so that you've got that little bit extra cushion in. And if you're on carpet, then great, you'll be fine. So, putting your knees on your blanket, hip width distance apart. We're going to tuck our back toes. We're going to reach back with our right hand to the right ankle, lifting the left arm up above. As we inhale, we're going to swoop down, swoop the arms around, bring the left hand to the left heel, right arm goes back. Inhale, come forward, swooping around. So it becomes a kind of a dance. Once more on both sides. Come to center, untuck the toes and just sit back on your heels. So we're just realigning the spine, nice elongated, aligned spine, so the vertebra can sit back to straight before we go into any other type of position. Just put your blanket to the side. Bring your hands to your thighs. Just breathe into the energizing effects that all back bends give. If you're ever feeling really sluggish and lazy, then just doing just that little sequence, that dancing camel, that'll make you feel good straight away. So yeah, I recommend. Then we can walk our hands forward into a lovely nurturing child's pose, bringing the head down to the floor, rounding the spine, bringing it all in. Taking your deep cleansing breaths here if you like, inhaling deeply and exhaling out a sigh. Just releasing any negativity, any self-doubts, fear, anything that you want to let go of right now. Giving it back to the earth as you exhale. Releasing it from the body. We'll gently walk our hands back up. And I'd like for you to grab your blanket again. And if not, that's okay. Don't worry, you don't necessarily need it, but it is helpful. If you have a blanket, then pop it just like a blanket's width down from the end of your mat. We then want to grab the end of our mat and fold it over the blanket. And if you don't have a blanket, then don't worry too much about it. You can use a towel. Actually, that will work just fine. And if you don't have access to any of these things right now, then just fold the mat over so you've got a little bit of an extra cushioning for the neck. So we're going to be lying down. So if you bring yourself lying down so that your head is off the mat onto the floor and your shoulders and your neck are still on the mat, cushioned by the blanket. Okay? So we're going to straighten our legs, flex the feet towards you. Bring your hands down beside the body, palms flat on the floor. Engage the thighs, engage the legs, engage your core. Inhale, lift the legs, send them back behind you. So you can bend into the knees, don't worry too much, you don't need to keep the legs straight. And the feet may not come all the way back to the floor. And if you are struggling, then just come into a half plow, which is lifting the legs upwards towards the sky at a 90-degree angle with the back still in contact with the mat. But wherever you are, just breathe into the stretch. Feel the articulation of your spine. And we'll take it up to a shoulder stand. So with control, lifting the legs all the way up to the ceiling, nice and straight. Taking your hands to your back for support. And making sure that you're not constricting the breath. Nice deep inhales and exhales. To come out, we'll release the hands to the floor. Bring the legs down. And then curl your back down onto the mat, each vertebra at a time. Keeping the legs nice and straight, activating the core, lowering them all the way down to the floor. Just taking a moment here for the spine to realign. And then we can push into the hands, coming up to seated, and just unroll your mat, put your blanket off to the side. And we're going to seat ourselves with our legs straight out in front of us. Bring the fleshy part of your bum out from underneath you so that you can sit nice and high on the sit bones. We're going to come into a seated forward bend. So hinging from the hips, coming forwards. Bring the hands beside the legs. No pulling. Don't try and force yourself down. If you can reach the feet, then go ahead. But just keep a nice flat back. Gazing to the toes. Then we can round our spine, bringing the forehead down. Making the pose nice and passive, so maybe turn the palms upwards so that you're not tempted to pull at all. It's a nice rounding of the spine. Releasing. And then we can walk our hands back up. And we'll take it all the way down to the floor. So lying down on your back, taking some spinal twists. So we'll bring our right knee into the chest. Exhale as you pull that knee in. Inhale, release. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, release. Exhale, squeeze it in. Taking a hold of that knee with the left hand, allow the right arm to come out to the side, nice and relaxed. Inhale to extend your spine. Exhale to guide the knee over to the left hand side. So in your spinal twists, it's just really important to remember to not over twist too much. It can be really tempting to you want to get that knee all the way down to the floor, but that's not the goal. Just want to keep it nice and calm, slowing down the breath, relaxing the nervous system. And just checking in that both our shoulders are in contact with the mat. So the right shoulder might have popped up off a little bit, and that's an indicator that you're twisting a little bit too much. So bring that shoulder back down if it's popped up. Inhale, bring that knee back up to center. Give it one last squeeze into your chest. Then extend it down on the mat. Inhale, bring the knee up. Exhale, squeeze the left knee in. Inhaling to release. Exhaling to squeeze. Taking our right hand to the knee. Left arm comes out beside the body, nice and relaxed. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale to twist over to the right. Once again, just making sure that you're not popping your left shoulder off the mat. And that you can feel the full expression of your breath. Allowing the lift of the inhale to move your body slightly out of the twist. And as you exhale, relaxing into the posture. Releasing any tension in any areas of the body that don't need to be used. The hands, the face, and the shoulders. And then we can inhale our knee back up to center, giving it one last squeeze in to the chest before sending it down on your mat. And we're going to come into a Shavasana, but I want to give you an option for a supported fish pose, which is really restorative, really nice position to be in. So you can do it in two ways. If you have a block, then you can pop the block just underneath you and have your head back on the floor. So you're just elevating, you're opening up the chest a little bit, bringing an opening here, an opening into the throat. Or you can grab your blanket or your towel. Towel works just perfectly fine as well. And you can roll the blanket up, so you've got this strip. Place it down on your mat, and you want to place it just underneath the shoulder blades. And you can bring your arms out to the side here. It's really nice. So just some two variations, modifications that you can do for your Shavasana. But again, they are not mandatory. You don't have to do them. You can just go into your regular Shavasana. And you can also maybe even bring your blanket underneath your knees. It's always really nice to support. So lying down in your supported fish or Shavasana, we're going to bring our legs out straight with the feet slightly apart. Have the palms upwards as a gesture of receiving. And close the eyes. Beginning to tune into your breath. Just like the beginning of our practice, sending the inhale down into the belly, feeling it expand. And as you exhale, experiencing the fall of your belly, fall of the exhale, the grounding into this space, this moment. Coming to this place of stillness. And if you'd like to stay here for a while, then please take this moment to just pause this video. Take as long as you like in your Shavasana. But if you want to end it there, which I recommend that you stay longer, but for the purpose of this, come up to seated, crossing the legs. Always trying to keep the eyes closed after you come up to seated from Shavasana, just to maintain that Shavasana energy, that calmness. Bring the hands into prayer at the heart in our Anjali Mudra. So as a gesture of gratitude, just take this moment to give yourself some gratitude. Thank yourself for giving yourself the gift of yoga today, for giving your mind, your body, and your soul this chance to regenerate, to reconnect. The light and the love within me bows and sees the light and love in you. Namaste. Thank you very much for joining. I've got some more videos, so please, if you enjoyed this one, then take a look at the other ones, and I'll be uploading loads more. So have a really good day, and I'll see you again.